It's the same mistakes. What makes me angry about the performance is that it's the same mistakes. There's things that we have yet to fix at Kaizer Chiefs that hurt us. You see, this performance from today was no different to the performance that we had at the beginning of the season, where Chiefs was playing 25 minutes and scoring and doing all of that stuff only to play tibang later on in the game. What kills me is that the same issue that we had midweek with Richards Bay, where I was told that maybe I was being too harsh on the team and maybe I was being overly critical in terms of the play of the team towards the end of games when you need to see them out, and how our defenses are taking at those times, and how the subs that Coach Nabi's making are maybe hurting us at the end of games. I was told I was overly critical. But let's go through this game. Kaizer Chiefs started like a house on fire. Kaizer Chiefs created chance after chance after chance after chance. The only criticism I have from the beginning of that game is obviously number one, or the only criticisms I have. Number one, you got to take your chances. So when Dupreez and Duba and all those people have chances, then they're looking at the keeper. When Mart has a chance to score, you need to score. Because you don't know how the second half can switch. And if you've watched Kaizer Chiefs games, we know that the second half is often different to the first. Number one. Number two, I think I often speak about Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates this year as being professional teams. You know, if Sundowns can get you down, we know this, they'll score 5 goals if they need to. If Pirates stumbles upon a team, Ahly, they're going to go and score 7. We saw that versus Golden Arrows, for example. But Kaizer Chiefs, I don't know if it was an arrogance or if they thought the game was over. At some point, they started doing unnecessary things, unnecessary passes wide, unnecessary fancy Hollywood things. They started doing these weird things instead of being direct and killing the game. If already you've seen that your first goal that came in the first 5 minutes came from a through ball where Dupreez outsprinted the defenders, outpaced the defenders and scored, why aren't you doing that more? And there were plenty of opportunities where we could have played a similar ball, but we were trying to forcibly go wide and play a wide ball, which I didn't understand. Sorry to interrupt the video that I'm sure you're enjoying, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me and my Overthinking Football platform. I'm a one-man band that's doing all of this, and I really do enjoy the comments about how, you know, Supersport needs to come fetch me and SABC and all of that stuff. And I think it speaks to the quality of the content, but also the amount of effort that I put in. So I just wanted to say thank you. But the truth is that Abu Supersport and all of those guys, yes, we're competing with them, but it's a completely different place. The sponsors are looking for former players, and to be honest with you, running some of these things is getting so difficult, and things have changed at home. So financially, it's a whole different world. So I wanted to try something new and come to the overthinkers, the people who watch the content, and say it would be incredible if you guys could contribute monthly towards the platform, towards keeping my lights on, but also making sure that all of the crazy things that I want to do, that I want to take Supersport on with, I can actually do. And just for 20 Rand every month, I think that would be an incredible contribution if you can make it. It may sound like a little, but if we can get a lot of people behind it, then we'll be able to carry on doing what I do. I'll be able to carry on giving you the content and also expanding it, because we don't have shows like this, and us content creators need help from our audiences. So I just came here to ask you if you can. Here is the account number that you guys can use in order to contribute. And I think, yeah, I'd be very grateful if you would. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Then you speak about this Royal AM team that was dead in the first half. That's another part where Andy Lempisano, chairman, is now playing in the central mid, and everybody's trying to cover his lack. So that's what creates space for Abom Tetwa, Nabo Marti to start playing the ball. surely, when you look at Royal AM and analyze them in games where chairman starts, you know that the second half they pull him half time, and then they play a completely different game in the second half. In the second half, they start running and actually playing. And this season, Royal AM has actually had some really good gameplay. They've actually come out and you saw it versus Sundowns, where they were a little bit more positive. They were pushing. They got that goal in the second half. They almost got a second goal to make it 2-2. They actually, when they want to play, they actually play. And I think they started feasting on the problems that I keep speaking about. You know, when you see a starting lineup of the Kaizer Chiefs and you see Sirino. So we had Sirino, we had Duba, we had Dupriz, and we had Shabalala. Something I've spoken about a lot this season is those are 4 attacking players. Sirino usually defaults to the left-hand side. So when Sirino's on the pitch, because he doesn't do defensive work, Cross comes under pressure. And for some reason, Cross always decides to push up. So if you look at the positioning of a Cross, he's always ahead. But when you are ahead like that and you're countered, a team counters on you, there's a space there. And what kills Kaizer Chiefs a lot of the time is once you are caught on the counter, everybody's chasing. Cross is chasing to catch a player that's already in a position where he's meant to be. Even though we understand he's pushing up to go fight the wing danger before it gets there. But anyway, he pushes up. There's a space there. So now in the counter, your center back has to now decide that I need to go that way to go cover the man who's just run into the space. And your CDMs are consistently chasing, which opens up spaces at the top of the box because, again, we've been caught on the counter. People are too far ahead. Now they have to come back. And that's where they get caught out, right? That's the one problem that Kaizer Chiefs has. That's literally just from seeing the starting lineup. And it's why I made a video where I said the honeymoon is over. And I know a lot of people got on me for that. But the sentiment of that was, okay, Coach Nabi, we were happy. You've done incredible work with the attack. But we still have the same defensive blunders that hurt us all the time. Royal AM turned up the volume in the second half, and you could also see a couple of other issues defensively. Why is your left and right back pushing all the way out every single time, and you're leaving your defenders in a 2, a vulnerable 2? Why is it that at some point throughout that match, Mart was playing 6 and Umthetho was playing 8, after we've seen how well Umthetho 6 and a Mart 8 works? Why are we switching that around? Why is it that we've seen Dupriz play very well centrally and look very dangerous centrally, but now he finds himself on the wing, chasing on the wing? But for me, those aren't even the biggest problems. The biggest problem was first shown to us in the Richards Bay game. In the Richards Bay game, towards the end of that game, it's almost like we decided to defend. And when we decided to defend and we pulled off Mart and we pulled off Dupriz and we brought in a whole bunch of other subs, we lost control of that game because we didn't have any danger. 2 things. Number 1, if you're going to be defensive towards the end of games, you have to know that teams are going to attack you, but they're going to open space. And the importance of taking advantage of that space, even if you don't score goals, is to make sure that that team stays with the danger in its mind. So in that game taking off Dupriz, in this game taking off Dupriz, it took away that danger. Ranga is more of a physical guy. He's not going to outpace us. He's not going to outsprint us. Chiefs is probably not going to get out of their half like that. So we can afford to, play that type of football because we know that this one is not that much of a danger. If Dupriz is still on the pitch, that team has to think to itself, we can't commit more people to this attack. We cannot take the risk of Dupreez being one-on-one or Dupreez and Sereno being one-on-one, where Sereno can play a ball. So you need to keep that danger, number one. Number two, make it boring. Make it boring. If you see that a team is pushing you, beginning of the second half when Royal AM got that goal, they've got adrenaline. They're hyped up. They want to go score. They want to go do something. That's when you make it boring. There are different ways of making it boring. You could, in the middle of an attack, pull a jersey, halt the momentum of an attack. Sundowns did that very well last year with Tebza. Sundowns used to leave games with over 20 fouls. Just from being able to stop momentum before it gets to my defense, team turns, so that we can get back. That's one. But the way that I'd love Chiefs to explore is, when things are getting hot, can we have a back six that just sits? Play a flat back four, put your two DMs in front of them, and just sit. Starve the other team of space. Win the ball back there. And I don't need you to play it out. I don't need you to hold the ball or be possession dominant. I just need you to stop Royal AM 2 or 3 times to stop the momentum that they had, and then they have to reset, and now we can start playing the game again. Oh, it's hot. Yazin cross, buya. Yazin, Kimang, Blom. Buya, Siahlala, 4. Mart, Tetwa, for the next 5 minutes, we just need you to sit and screen whatever's coming. That's all you need to do for the next 5 minutes so that we can calm down. Even bring the other players back. Because if you don't do those things, your normal weaknesses will hurt you. And Richards Bay, not Richards Bay, Royal AM hurt us simply because we kept on making Chiefs errors. There's no need to bring on Ranga. What is Ranga going to do in that game? There's no need to bring on Modi. What is Modi going to do in that game? Rather, we send people to the back and say, okay, guys, we're playing two banks of 4. We're parking a bus. And then Sereno and Dupreez, go for it, guys. When we win the ball back, you are a pressure valve. You're also our threat. We might be able to get 2 or 3 more goals from this game if we play like that. But if we start making random subs and people are standing at the top and our defense is under pressure and nobody's there, our defense is trying to play the ball out and nobody's coming to collect the ball, Royal AM is pressing us and winning the ball, those are going to be issues. So, again, the honeymoon is over. The points are tallying up. We now have 11 points as the Kaizer Chiefs from a possible 28. We're now seeing the same defensive errors creeping up every day, and now, I'm sorry, you need to try fix it. You need to try figure out how to make sure that these things work. You know, if I'm talking about the defense and cross pushing up, then you have to make sure that your DMs are alert enough to drop back in and make it a 4 anyway, and not move your center backs. Rather, your DM be the one chasing and not your center backs. You have to figure out now, right? How do we go directly and go score and do it over and over and over again? I don't want to be too harsh because there was a lot of chances that we should have taken. But this game is a game of inches. It's a game of those small, minute details. Because you didn't take your 3 chances on top of the 2 that you scored, now you're going to concede 2. Barikiri football gods in football. Barikiri football gods, where they say, if you don't take your chances, you will be punished. Now I've seen enough of the defense doing the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. Now we need to figure out solutions of, hi guys, we may not have the quality or the players or any of whatever we're speaking about, but how do we make sure that in that time, even if it means overloading the box, we make sure that we're not going to concede those type of goals. You know, if Royal AM had also done their research a little bit more, I don't want to be condescending, but a little bit more, they would know that You find the byline, you cross it back up because the DMs are usually not there. And that's how you score versus Chiefs. So luckily for us today, it wasn't a loss. We came away with something from the game. But there'll be days where we don't come away with anything. And we need to be ready to, turn the draws into wins and turn the losses into draws. We have to be able to defend our leads, to make sure that that we're not vulnerable towards the end of games. And these are things that come down to coaching now. I think Coach Nebi's substitutions have to be questioned a little bit, or what he's trying to do at the end of games. I think you need to be clear with what you're going to do. Are you going to try carry on attacking, or are you going to try defending? And if you're defending, what's your plan to go forward? And if you're attacking, how do you make sure that you're covered at the back? What's the game situation like? Where are you sitting with this? Because Richards Bay, if not for lack of finishing, could have taken 2 points from us too, late in the game. But all in all, I think on the bright side, Coach Nebi's attack is still potent. I think Serino is still the brain that we need. He just needs to, at times, stop being over. Man, he does things over, and he wants to be fancy instead of just playing the ball where it needs to be played, and then we finish up where we're going. But incredible forward play by Chiefs. We're very excited in the beginning of that first half. I'd say halfway through the first half, we were ecstatic. It was amazing. We were creating those chances. Now we need to learn how to finish games. And when it comes to Abu Rale, maybe don't play chairman. Maybe start with the strongest Abu Tigas and those guys immediately, so that you can get something from games early, and then maybe go into defensive sets and things like that. But if you're going to play like this and open up a midfield, Pella, that sixth position is so important. If you're going to open up the midfield and have Uchemen playing there, and knowing that he's not the strongest of players in terms of that position, because it's one of the toughest positions in football, especially at the highest level, right? I don't know. Maybe you're just going to hurt yourselves too much in that regard. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. See you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.